Buster's 28th birthday. Well done. Robert Stanberry, only the third. All right, let me run through some baseball stuff for you here, and we'll get a few thoughts from you. James Paxton is where it begins. He struck out 16 and gave up 0 earned runs for 7 innings for the Mariners. Got a no decision and a 3-2 loss to the A's. But Paxton is the 6th pitcher since divisional play began in 1969 with at least 15 strikeouts, with not allowing an earned run, and to end up with a no decision. So that goes to show you just how insignificant the one-loss record sometimes can be. Bryce Harper hit leadoff again and led the game off with a home run in Washington's 9-3 win over the Pirates. He was 3 for 5, drove in 3. It was his 18th career start in the leadoff spot, so that's becoming a trend a little bit around the sport right now. Cleveland, the Indians, Edwin Encarnacion went deep 3 times, drove in 6 runs as Cleveland hammered the Rangers by a score of 12-4. Encarnacion's only hitting 191, but he leads the Indians with 9 home runs. And not to be outdone, because he isn't by anyone, Mookie Betts is sensational. 3 solo homers in the Red Sox 5-4 win over KC yesterday. It's the 4th 3-home-run game of Betts' career, which snapped a tie with Ted Williams for the most in franchise history. And so as I bring Buster back in, you know, earlier, Michelle Beadle said here, if you just sort of parachuted in recently, you would think Mookie Betts is the best baseball player in the world. Would you be wrong?
Boy, the way he's playing right now, he's certainly in the conversation. I would still take Mike Trout, but this is the best Mookie Betts that we've seen. Back in January, our old friend Alex Cora, the new manager of the Red Sox, went to lunch with him, and he told Mookie, he said, hey, have you thought about being more aggressive in the count? Because when we faced you, and he used to be the bench coach with the Astros, we always thought that you were passive early in the count. You had that auto take on strike 1, and you were put on the defensive. So Mookie had some struggles trying to make this adjustment in spring training, and now it's all kicked in. Alex texted me yesterday and said he is hunting for strikes, and he's not missing. Greeny, there's a great statistic on Fangraphs on hard hit balls. In his career, he's typically 31 to 35%. This year, 48.8% of the time he puts the ball in play, it's a hard hit ball.
All right, so he's playing great. The Yankees are playing great. They beat the Astros again, and in this case, they got 2 home runs from Giancarlo Stanton, plus a complete game 10 strikeout masterpiece from Luis Severino, who did something no one ever does anymore, and that is go the distance. So the Yankees are on fire. They've won 11 of their last 12 after what was a slow start for them, and all the attention was on Stanton striking out all the time. So what do we make, Buster, of these last couple of weeks from the Yankees?
That great lineup that we talked all winter about with Stanton and Judge and Didi Gregorius and Brett Gardner, Gary Sanchez, it is fully manifesting in those 12 games that you referenced, which, by the way, are against contenders. The Toronto Blue Jays, the Minnesota Twins, the Angels, and now the Astros. Greeny, they've outscored their opponents 73-20. They are crushing opponents. And here's a scary thought, too. Stanton with that 2-home-run game last night, it feels like he's starting to gather momentum. Despite his terrible start, Giancarlo Stanton is on track right now to finish this season with 119 runs and 75 extra base hits. So it's unbelievable to think he's going to get better as the season goes along.
Yeah, all the attention goes on the strikeouts, but that's not the entire story. And then just terrible news for the New York Mets. Jacob deGrom goes down in the 4th inning of what turned out to be a 7-0 loss to the Braves last night with a hyperextended elbow. And then afterwards, it was explained that he hurt himself taking a swing during an at-bat, of all things. So as Met fans get a little closer to the TV and listen carefully to you, Buster, what are you hearing about deGrom?
Well, as Mickey Callaway said, he's not going to sleep well overnight as they await the MRI results. He went for those last night. We expect to hear something this morning on what's going on. Look, nobody has more fun on a baseball field than Jacob deGrom. And so it was very striking as he came off the mound after the 4th inning, after he went back to the mound after talking with Mickey Callaway, and he was wincing in pain at one point, and as he goes in the dugout, he's got his head down, he goes in the tunnel immediately, says to Dave Island, I'm done. That tells you this could be very serious.
Now, this is absolutely the last thing on planet Earth that the Mets needed to hear. Buster, well done. Thank you. Thank you for ruining Hembo's birthday.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, on planet Earth, I got another baseball story for you here. The Rockies are in Chicago for a series against the Cubs. And, you know, they play all these afternoon games at Wrigley Field. So they needed a little caffeine kick. So they sent a rookie, Noah Cuevas, on a coffee run in full uniform. He went to pick up Starbucks in Wrigleyville. The total bill was over $111 for more than 24 orders. So they sent the rookie out there. I like those kinds of stories. Now, we've seen some controversial ones, but this one obviously is benign in every conceivable way. You got any good rookie stories? Were you treated as a rookie or ever treat anyone as a rookie, make them run out and get anything?
Yeah, that was pedestrian.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the safety that comes with how they handled it. Being a veteran on the road as an NBA player, you travel and there's usually late nights clearly involved. But you always, and this is before social media, and this is where people weren't always attached to a cell phone, but you always had to answer your hotel room phone when the vets call, 24/7, 365. And usually when you're getting that call after midnight, it's to take a CVS run.
Okay.
Don't ask.
Will you explain that to me afterwards?
Yep,
I mean, what, in case you run out of like toothpaste or something like that? Is that what you need?
Floss,
Yes.
floss.
Every now and again, because that'll happen to me sometimes.
And then people also would charge room service to your room.
Oh.
I would do that. That's just fun.
And all of that
That's
type of stuff. You got to always pay the check when you're a rook.
Harmless pranks. Okay, a day after saying that he would like someone to punch Draymond Green in the face, and Green subsequently challenging him to do it, Charles Barkley apologized during halftime of last night's game between the Jazz and the Rockets.
What I said was inappropriate. I would never punch an NBA player. I would never punch an NBA player. I meant what I said. I meant what I said. But I would never punch an NBA player. Draymond Green's a good player. I think he's a nice kid. I wish him nothing but the best. But what I said was inappropriate.
Okay, so we had a very lengthy discussion here on this show yesterday, and obviously everyone across the country was talking about it because he's Charles Barkley, and the comments were pretty significant. You felt he went too far with his initial comments. So how did you feel about what he said last night?
I appreciate how he handled it, and that's why I felt that he went too far with it, and that's why he called it inappropriate, because he physically challenged Draymond Green to an altercation, and that's something that is.
You really thought that? You thought that was an apology?
I did. It was an apology.
That was an apology.
Yes.
Man, you'd be fun to get in a fight.
I don't know if it was an apology, but I think it was an acknowledgement, that it's the wrong thing to say. I mean, Charles is Charles. He's that one person. So I'm good with him saying, I understand that I'm not supposed to say that. Like that. I don't think he said, I'm sorry for saying it, as much as he said, I understand that I am not supposed to say that on TV.
By the way, context is everything. They also started the segment with him doing a bunch of this and Shaq giggling in the corner.
Context is everything. I felt like he went too far. He felt like he went too far. That's why he said it was
inappropriate. But what about the part where he said, I meant what I said?
He probably did mean what he said, but he felt like it was inappropriate, just like I did, which is why he got on national television and apologized.
Yeah,
I can't believe you're counting that.
Well, because there are a lot of things that you think that you don't say, right? Yeah. You might be watching that game and you might be thinking, boy, I'd love to punch him in the face, but you wouldn't come on TV and say, I'd like to punch him in the face. So I think Charles is, again, I'm not going to speak for him, but I think he's saying, I wanted to punch him in the face, but I shouldn't have said I wanted to punch him in the face.
I don't think there's anything wrong with saying you want to punch someone in the face.
I think...
Period. Like, I don't get it. Doesn't mean you're going to punch them in the face. So you just want to punch them.
You will come on TV and say you will punch somebody in the face.
But I'm not Charles Barkley. There's a difference. Like, I can't, I'm not that, he is different than all of us.
I still want to know why you're going to a drugstore after midnight. I just don't understand.
No, Greeny, I'm going to tell you in a minute.
From one NBA legend to another as we continue, the great one, Dr. J.
Ooh.
Julius Erving will join this program and settle, among other debates, what was his greatest play ever? The doctor makes a house call in our next hour on Get Up.
Presenting Just for Men Auto Stop.